Let's explore photo painting or cloning. Photo painting is a technique where you take a photograph and you turn it into a painting by either painting over it with cloner brushes to extract the detail and color from the source image, or by auto painting, which can automatically analyze the image and apply the brush strokes for you. The end result is a painting that looks like a photo, or a photo that looks like a painting. So let's go ahead and go through the photo painting workflow. I have this image of a sunset that I took in Edmonds, Washington, and let's turn it into a painting. We'll start by hand painting this using the photo painting brushes. You'll want to go ahead and open a source image, go to the window menu, and then make sure the photo painting panel is enabled. I'm going to move things a little bit so I can see more of this at once. You can see there's steps here that we need to follow, so we want to choose an image. We could use the open image or we can browse for an image. Let's just use the open image. That's going to create a quick clone for us, so that'll create a new document and it will load that image as our clone source. Next, we can auto paint this, but I'm going to save this for a little bit later. And then step 3 is paint by hand, which is what we're going to do. We can show and hide the tracing paper, which will let us see our image. That way when we're painting on it, we can see what we're doing. We can make the tracing paper more opaque or less opaque. And right now we can see that checkered pattern, which is the canvas. We can go ahead and show the canvas, and we can begin painting on it. Now the brushes that we'll want to use are found in Photo Painting General. There are also some in Auto Painting and Touch-Up. Let's go ahead and start with chalk. You'll notice that the color picker is grayed out, and that's showing us that we're in cloning mode and we're going to extract the colors from the source image. So I'm going to paint right here on these distant hills, and I'm going to hit the shortcut for tracing paper, which is Control-T, and you can see what I got. There's this kind of dark stroke. Now if I paint up here on the sky, and then hit Control-T, you can see I get a blue that matches the sky blue. If I paint on the sunset and on the clouds, then I get the color from the sunset and the clouds. So I could go through here and essentially just paint over all of the different objects in this painting. I'll want to use a brush that matches the size of the object. So for example, in this little area with the white here, I want to use a smaller brush, so I'm only painting on the white. But in the sky, I could use a really big brush, because the sky is really just kind of one color, and then it just fades out into another color. There's not a lot of small details except for in the clouds here. So block that stuff in with bigger brushes. Can block in the ground here with bigger brushes. Then I could go through with smaller brushes and do the finer stuff. I'm being really quick and fast about this because I want this just to be an example, but you'd want to take your time. If I hit Control-T, you can kind of see how this is coming along. It's going to take some work for this to look like a painting. One of the things you'll find about painting this way is you have to do so many small, fine brush strokes without very many breaks in between that it really starts to kind of cramp your hand up. So you will want to try to take breaks here and there if you start to become uncomfortable. But you can see all I'm doing is just painting over the canvas, just finding these areas of different colors and keeping my brush strokes within those areas. So this log here, I'm just painting right over that. Then I'm painting around it so that I'm getting the background colors. Then periodically you'll want to show and hide your tracing paper so you can get a feel of what you're doing. Now if I zoom out on this, you can see it's kind of starting to look like a painting. So it kind of has this chalk look to it, but we can try some of these other brushes. If we wanted a bristle brush look, we could use bristle oil. If I use a bigger brush, you can just see it looks more bristly. This might actually work better for the clouds and stuff, so I'll just go over it with the bristle brush. We could even try a little bit of it here on the water as well. Now, some brushes bring in more detail than others. So this one is bringing in a bit more detail than the chalk did. Let's try another variant. Let's try spray fine. If we use this here on the ground, we can spray in some ground details. I'll use it on the sky just so you can see what it's doing. It's a spray brush that's revealing the detail from the original image. We'll zoom in a bit. You can see it's giving a nice sandy texture to the ground. Because this is a spray brush, I can angle the spray, but I don't really want it to go into the sky, so I just need to be careful of that. There's also spray furry, which you can use for painting pets, or spray splattery. If I use my pen upright and I just sprinkle in a little bit of detail here and there, it gives me kind of an impressionist feel. And I don't need to copy this photograph exactly. This can be in an impressionist style. It can be kind of a mix between a painting and a photograph. I can add in my own details if I like, which I'll show you how to do in a little bit. I could even select blenders. Let's say there's some stuff here floating in the sky that I don't like. I'll just blend those out. If this stuff is too sharp, I can go over it with a blender and just kind of knock it back a bit. You really have a lot of control when you're painting this way. So these photo painting brushes can simulate different types of media, but they're essentially getting the detail and color from the source image. If we switch to a different brush, let's say dynamic speckles, and then particle bristle. If I paint over here on the sky, you can see that I'm still getting the sky colors. I'm still cloning. In order to turn off cloning, I'll need to click up here on the top right and disable use clone color. Now I can choose whichever color I like. This also means that you can turn just about any brush into a cloner brush. Let's say the airbrush's digital soft pressure. I can use clone color, and now I can airbrush in colors from the sky. Or if I choose a different brush, let's say dab stencils, flow map chalk, clone color is still activated, so I can go in here and add some dab stencil. I'm going to go ahead and disable clone color. We can sample this color here, and you could paint in your own details like a tree and really make this your own painting. Or if you wanted to have a person on the beach, you could paint a little person out here like this. Now, if you're working on this painting and then you want to come back to it, you'll need to embed your clone source. That will link this source image to your painting. So I'll go to File, Save As. I'll save this as Clone Painting and be sure to save it as a painter riff. Now if I close this and I reopen it, you can see that image is still linked and I can continue to clone details from the source image. So this is a pretty sloppy photo painting, but it gives you an idea of what you can do. You definitely want to spend more time on your paintings than I've demonstrated here. Since we have this saved, we can compare it to what it looks like if we auto paint. This time let's create a new canvas. We'll set our unit of measurement to inches, and we'll choose a custom canvas size. Let's choose 8 by 10 at 300 pixels per inch. And rather than use open image, we'll browse for a clone source. We'll choose that clone source PNG. Now one thing you may notice is that the aspect ratio of my source image is different than my canvas, so it's not going to fill the whole canvas. You may want to edit your source image to make it match the aspect ratio of your canvas. I just wanted to show you this for example's sake. So let's go ahead and close this. I'll open my clone source, and we'll just create a clone source using open image. Now to create an auto painting, we want to choose an auto painting preset. The auto painting technology has been enhanced in Corel Painter Essentials 8, plus there's 10 new AI styles. These can render the painting in a variety of media and styles. Let's start with opaque acrylic. We'll click the play button to start it. At any time, we can press stop or hit escape on our keyboard. It will take a minute to prepare, and then it's going to start making brush strokes. And like magic, a painting will appear. Now it may change the colors in your painting a bit and augment it a tiny bit to make it look like a painting. But you can see, just like I did when I was painting this by hand, you start with bigger brushes and you work down to the finer details with smaller brushes. If you like the way it looks, you can click stop at any time, or you can let the detail get finer and finer until it stops on its own. Here it stopped on its own, and this is what our painting looks like with the opaque acrylic style. Let's try another style. Captured bristle, and now we get a result that looks like this. We'll go ahead and undo. Let's try pencil sketch. I'll go ahead and click stop. Some images work better than others as source images, and it may take some experimenting to find a style that works. I don't think pencil sketch works really well for this, so I'll undo it. Let's try palette knife landscape. And I really like the way that this one looks, so I'll go ahead and keep that. Now we could save this as our final painting, but we don't have to stop here. We also have auto painting and touch up, which we can use to touch this up. For example, I could select Impressionist, and then in the sky here, I can fill in some of these areas where it didn't get anything. And I can kind of maintain that same look, or I can add brush strokes over it if I want it to look kind of like an Impressionist painting. Go in here and put in some clouds like so. And so I'm adding to this. Maybe the auto painting is just my foundation, and then I'm going to create stuff on top of that. I'm going to select Smeary Round, put in some detail here on the water. This will just help it look more hand-painted. Let's try Palette Knife. I'll just use this here on the ground to break it up and add more texture to it. You could even go and just use your regular brushes, like blenders or brushes that add paint. For example, I have this Palette Knife blender. which I can use with pen tilt to change the shape of the brush. Go through and blend this out. And again, I'm just being really sloppy here for example's sake, just to kind of show you what these brushes can do. Well, let's say that something like that is our finished painting. We can compare this to our hand-painted clone painting, which didn't tweak the colors like it did in the auto painting example. But that doesn't mean that you can't tweak the colors in your source image, or just tweak them after the fact. I can go to Effects, Tonal Control, Adjust Colors. I can overly saturate this, and then I get something that looks kind of similar, not exactly the same, but it looks a little more painterly. In addition to cloning with a clone source, we can also fill with a clone source. So I could create a selection, select a paint bucket. I already have a source image loaded, which is this image here, and I can fill with that source image. I'll go ahead and fill over here, and you can see it's attempting to flood fill these areas. Gives me kind of an interesting effect. I'll go ahead and clear this out just so you can better see what this is doing. I'll draw another rectangle, and I'll fill that with the source image. I'll go back to my auto painting here. You can use multiple clone sources if you like. I can click back on my clone source. I'll select this driftwood texture, and I could create a new layer and paint in some of that driftwood texture if I wanted to. Now we could change the composite method of that layer, maybe make it an overlay layer, and just add some subtle cracks in the painting, maybe to make it look aged or something like that. You could reduce the opacity, and there you go. I've added multiple clone sources while cloning on a separate layer. That's all I'm going to cover about photo painting in this course. I do have a few reference videos you can watch if you want to learn more about this technique. That brings us to the end of this lesson. In the final lesson, we'll go through a digital art workflow and put together everything we've learned to create a finished painting. That's coming up next.